Apparently, $600 is a budget gaming PC now. And so, let me show you how to build the perfect budget gaming PC. And no, this isn't going to be using any of the Arc Battle Mage cards. This is going to be using a card that is quite old at this point, but still a very worthy card when it comes to HD competitive gaming, HD AAA gaming, AA gaming, indie gaming. It's an HD beast, and it's a really good card, and it's a good price as well, because I'm talking about the Radeon RX 6650 XT. Now, this card can be got new on Amazon for $210, which is a fantastic value. One problem with this card, of course, is the fact that it only has 8 gigabytes of VRAM going into 2025. That is a bit of a problem, but if you are still gaming at HD, then probably it'll be okay. It won't be a big problem. And I think when it comes to budget gaming, this is one of the best choices you can make for a $200 or thereabouts card that, you know, will be able to play any game, most games on Ultra, and won't be breaking the bank. So, fantastic card. Also supports a lot of the new upscaling and AI technology. Then we will be pairing this with the Inland CPU motherboard AMD Ryzen 5500 6-core. Such a weird title, the way that they title these things, but I guess it's just for clicks. Anyway, we are going to be using a Ryzen 5500, which is a 6-core 12-thread CPU, which is perfect for HD gaming, and it is of course a Zen 3 chip, not the most recent in the lineup, but definitely good enough for playing games, and for playing games at respectable frame times. You know, very little stuttering. CPU won't be holding you back at all, and this comes with a Gigabyte B450M Wi-Fi motherboard. And you know, the Wi-Fi part is important because I think these boards and these CPUs sell a lot as sort of console equivalent computers. And this is of course AM4, so it will be using DDR4, and I've gone for the Oloy 16 gigabyte kit. Now, if you do want to go 32 gigabytes, you know, you can get some good specials for around $50 for 32 gigabytes. But in my opinion, for, you know, gaming at HD, 16 gigabytes is still fine. A lot of people will tell you that you do need 32 gigabytes now, but games very rarely get even up to 14 gigabytes of usage, and the kinds of games that you're going to be playing on this computer for the most part won't be getting close to needing anything more than 16 gigabytes really. And this is 3200 megahertz of CL16 RAM, so a very standard average RAM at this point, but still does the job for gaming very well. Just to get back to this motherboard quickly, this is of course a B450M motherboard, so it's a relatively budget motherboard, but not the worst thing in the world. It is a gigabyte board and a relatively well designed one. It does have 2 PCIe slots, 1 PCI slot for expansion there, and it does have a NVMe connector. I assume it'll be a Gen 3. Let's see what it says. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, Gen 3 NVMe slot there, and it does come with 4 DIMMs, which is quite nice. So if you do end up buying 32 gigabytes by going with 8 gigabyte DIMMs, 8 gigabyte RAM sticks, then you know you can get up to 64 gigabytes on this. Probably actually up to 128 gigabytes, but for a PC using a 6-core CPU, that's very much overkill, and you know, just popping in 4 8 gig sticks in this will be more than fine. And going with that Ryzen 5 5500, which in my opinion is a good motherboard for a good CPU for gaming even in 2025. And we will be filling this NVMe slot with a Patriot P300, which is a Gen 3 1 terabyte NVMe drive. It is $49, and 1 terabyte of storage is an okay amount. It is fast storage, of course. It is gonna be fine for gaming, but you probably need more like 3 or 4 terabytes if you want to play games like Call of Duty and Indiana Jones, games with these big textures. You need a lot more. But if you just want to play some normal games, some esports games, and a couple of AAA games, a 1 terabyte is fine. If it were me, I would probably go with a 2 terabyte just to be safe. But for $49, the 1 terabyte is pretty good. Moving on to the case now. This is, dealer's choice. You can choose whatever you like, but I like the way that this looks. And let's just make sure something. Okay, so just make sure that your motherboard will fit in your case when you do take a look at a case. And if you're unsure, just go with something a little bit bigger, something that is ATX. But this is a micro ATX case, so it only supports pretty small motherboards. So just be sure that it actually does fit. So it's MATX, and this one comes with 320mm fans, millimeter fans, which are ARGB. It is a good value. It comes with it is this sort of fish tank style case. I like the way that this one looks. This is a Okinos Aqua 3 as far as I know, and yeah, like I said, this one looks good. It's quite compact, which I like a lot in a case. And in terms of build quality, it's right down the middle. It's an average case, but it's, the average is pretty good now in terms of cases. And this one, for airflow and for general aesthetic, I think is fantastic. It does have a Type-C port there. Seems like an audio jack as well, some USBs, a reset, and a power. So all in all, for the price of $65, I think this is a good case. And I think it will do well. But when buying a case, make sure that the motherboard size is supported, and you can do this just by checking, what motherboard it actually supports. If it doesn't, just go with an ATX case, and that'll support everything. Well, unless you buy an eATX motherboard, but you won't be doing that at this price point. Moving on to the power supply here. So the power supply, I always say it would be better to just, and same with the case because of shipping, but I always say it's better to just go into your local retailer and just buy a power supply there, because power supplies, they can get damaged in shipping. They cost more or less the same on Amazon than they do in a retail store. And in a retail store, you get that warranty that's easy to exchange. You get a little bit of peace of mind. On Amazon, it's a bit more of a hassle. So if you do insist with going with Amazon, something like this will be fine. This isn't the best one in the world, but for the price, it's very good. And this is a 600 watt, just a standard 600 watt, nothing fancy. Like I said, not the best in the world, but be sure to check reviews, be sure to find some info on it. And if you can't, just go with a name brand that you actually recognize, and just check out the power supply tier list. Something like this probably won't have the best rating, but you can see on the reviews, for the price, this is quite good. But you don't necessarily need to cheap out. If you go anything like something like this, is probably going to be a little bit better. So you have the option there, but something like this will most likely be fine. So that's our build. I think this build is nearly perfect for HD gaming at a reasonable budget. It is sort of the quintessential HD gaming PC, if you will, when you want to go with AMD and a Radeon card. And I think all in all, this PC will do quite well at HD, and there will be nothing that you can't play at respectable frame rates, at respectable graphics. So with that in mind, let's check out how it does. Stay with me. Okay, so thank you to Game Test for providing the footage. We are looking at God of War 1080p high, and it seems like we are getting an average FPS of 105 at, very respectable graphics settings on a very relatively modern AAA game. And this is right off the bat a very good result. This is of course with the RX 6650 XT and a Ryzen 5 5500, and as I said, for HD gaming, this is a perfect combination. Let's see how we do in Cyberpunk, a little bit more difficult to run. We are looking at 97 average FPS on 1080p Ultra, and like I said, this PC, when it comes to HD gaming, This PC is quite the system, quite a beast, and doesn't suffer at all, doesn't struggle at all, even in Cyberpunk. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we are getting around 93 average FPS, 1080p very high, and again a fantastic result on a very good looking game. I'm not going to take. Let's take a look at Far Cry 6. We are looking at around 82 FPS, 1080p ultra, good result again. And you know, so far these FPS numbers have been very respectable. A lot of them have been close to you know, high refresh rate gaming, and all in all, so far, fantastic result. Resident Evil Village, quite a good looking game. 174 average FPS now. Fantastic result again. Now this is not the most difficult game to run in the world anymore, but still a very good looking game. Days Gone, one of my favorite games ever. 93 FPS and 1080p very high. And this just shows what I sort of mean with this PC. This PC is perfect for just gaming, just, you know, just relaxing, playing games, and at a relatively low budget of $600, just having a good time at HD. Red Dead Redemption 2 is always a good one to look at. We are looking at 92 average, 1080p high on the in-game benchmark, and again, just a fantastic result, close to 100. And you know, that's sort of been a theme with this graphics card. Everything has been quite close to 100 FPS, and on esports games I'm sure it's going to go well over 100. Let's take a look at Horizon Zero Dawn. Now this is the old Horizon, but still a relatively modern title, still difficult to run. Getting around 107 average FPS at 1080p ultra, and this card is really surprising me. It's doing very well. It is actually getting numbers close to my 3070, so that's a very good result here. And lastly here we'll take a look at Hitman 3, 122 average, 1080p ultra, and again, like I said, just a fantastic result for 1080p gaming. And yeah, I think that's the theme with this computer. When you play games at 1080p, ultra graphics, high graphics, this PC will do fine. There's not much that it can't handle. Now, we didn't look at, you know, the newest games like your Indiana Joneses or your you know, your very difficult to run games. Indiana Jones is the one that comes to mind because it needs, you know, it needs like 12 gigs of VRAM to play well, and it needs just a very modern system, you know, ray tracing, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, straying from just that game and maybe one or two others, I think this PC is perfect for gaming at HD. And with these numbers, I'm sure it will do above 70 FPS in most games for 2K gaming as well. So all in all, I'm very happy with the performance. If you consider this is a new PC and it's only $600, now you have to consider shipping and all of that kind of stuff. I don't take that into account. But, you know, for the price paid for $600, I think this PC does fantastically, and I'm very impressed with the results. So let me know what you think. Is this the sort of PC that you could build, that you would be interested in building? Does it have to be NVIDIA, or is it fine to sometimes have these Radeon cards, because they do hold their own? And as good as the new Intel Battlemage cards are, they aren't this good. And you know, this card is only $200. So yeah, I'm very impressed with it. Let me know what you think, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.